Mr. Ducey was elected into office, his mission was to make the great state of Arizona one that was the best to live, work, and get an education. Since January 5th, 2015, when he was sworn into office, he has continued on with that mission and has not lost sight of what he said was important to him. To this day, he remains motivated to growing the economy, creating jobs, promoting educational excellence, protecting our communities, and restoring fiscal responsibility. Governor Ducey was born in Toledo, Ohio, and he moved to Arizona to attend ASU's business school, where he earned his Bachelor's of Science in Finance in 1986. But I do have to say, go Wildcats. He was the former partner and CEO of Cold Stone Creamery, and when he sold his business in 2007, he and his partner had grown Cold Stone Creamery from just a local shop down the street to more than 1,400 locations in all 50 that you have, and the office that you hold. We are truly blessed to have you with us tonight. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Governor Ducey.
Thank you, Colby, and good evening, Badgers. Superintendents, principals, teachers, students, parents, friends, and family, and most of all, the awesome 356 graduates of the class of 2016. Congratulations and welcome to this moment. It's a privilege to be with you sharing this monumental achievement here at one of Arizona's oldest schools, in the heart of the original capital city, in a place that's rightfully become to be known as everybody's hometown. I may not be from Prescott, but I feel that sentiment every time I'm here. There's a feeling you get being in a place like this, where your neighbors are your friends and your friends are your family. A place where everybody really does know your name, because your parents went to this school and their parents, and former student Joe Howard is now Superintendent Joe Howard. And if it's Friday night, the town is here, packing the bleachers for a Badgers home game. Prescott is a place of great people and grand traditions. And I just want you to know how honored I am to be a small part of Prescott history tonight, and how proud I am to be here celebrating your tremendous accomplishments. Even though I graduated from high school a long, long time ago, use your imagination, I'd like to think that my 3 sons, aged middle school through college, have kept me young and up to date on the latest in popular culture. But I'd be wrong. So I'm going to ask you to meet me halfway and rewind back to the year most of you were making your entrance into this world. That year, 1998, here in Arizona, our second female governor, Jane D. Hall, was elected at the polls. Across the country, President Bill Clinton's impeachment was on the front page of the papers. Newspapers, that is. Those were the things we read before we had websites. And all over the world, citizens braced for something called Y2K, which would have resulted in computers everywhere crashing, Luckily, you've probably never heard of it because for the most part, it turned out to be no big deal. The first Harry Potter book was released. The Denver Broncos won the Super Bowl, and Saving Private Ryan dominated the box office. Fast forward to today. You're young adults. You have the entire world ahead of you. And yet, when you think about it, you've lived through an amazing, unprecedented 18 years of history. In every corner, and a blockbuster video on none. You can now read all 7 Harry Potter books on your iPad and watch the movies. And guess what? The Denver Broncos won the Super Bowl again. And for me, the last 18 years have brought me more joy than I ever dreamed of. My wife Angela and I now have 3 sons, Jack, Joe, and Sam. And last year I had the honor of being sworn in as Arizona's 23rd governor. A privilege I could have never imagined when I sat where you're sitting right now. Like many of you, I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do with my life when I was 18. So if that sounds like you, breathe in, breathe out, enjoy it. You've got plenty of time. You see, I don't come from a political family. I grew up in Toledo, Ohio. My dad was a cop, and I consider myself a product of the Midwest and the working class. During my junior year of high school, my folks split up. Graduation was around the corner, and I didn't know what I was going to do, where I was going to do it, or how I was going to get there. So I started visiting with a college counselor, and one day he did what anyone would do for someone in need of direction. He pulled out a map, pointed to some place in the Southwest, and said, Arizona. There's a lot of opportunity out there, and school is affordable. So I packed up my Datsun B210 and drove from Toledo, Ohio to Tempe, Arizona. Go Devils. I was the first person in my family to graduate college. I studied business at Arizona State, paid my way through school, and a few years later we built an ice cream company called Cold Stone Creamery. All we had to start was a great product, a handful of stores to sell it, and the will and work ethic to do something big. Today, Cold Stone operates in all 50 states and 31 countries around the world. This adventure led me to understand the true meaning of my American dream, because we've all heard of it. It's an idea as old as our country, rooted in our Declaration of Independence. And while its significance has changed over the course of history, at the heart of it is a word that is universal and eternal. That word is opportunity. Opportunity for all. Regardless of zip code or circumstance, to have a shot at a quality of life that is fulfilling, prosperous, and meaningful, whether that includes a 4-year college degree or vocational training, military service, elective office, selling ice cream, or serving Arizona. Attending Prescott High School for the past 4 years has opened more doors for you than you probably are aware of right now. Fair warning, if you're anything like the rest of us, you're only a few years from being faced with your first midlife crisis. We'll call it a quarter life crisis. That overwhelming feeling of choosing a career path that's right for you. You may find yourself with so many options that you stop dead in your tracks, fearing that if you continue down one path, the rest will disappear. In this situation, the only advice I can give you is don't stop. Keep going. If you're overwhelmed with choices, you did something right. Don't look at opportunities as burdens, look at them as blessings. Dream big, think big, but remember, there is no shame in starting small. I don't know any other way that you could start. If I had a dime for everyone I knew whose first job was CEO, president, surgeon, or four-star general, I would be broke. And while it may not always feel like it when you're starting out, remember that there is dignity in every job. There may be days when your job feels thankless. It's not. No job is thankless, and no job is less than. You will serve an important purpose. You will provide a service to someone who wouldn't have called on you if they could do it themselves. If your job wasn't important, it wouldn't exist. No matter what you do in life, do it in the spirit of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "If a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets even as Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. No work is insignificant. All labor that uplifts humanity has dignity and importance and should be undertaken with painstaking excellence. Most importantly, regardless of what job you do, make serving others your vocation. Do something worthy of the people that have come before you and who have helped you get where you are today." I mentioned the movie Saving Private Ryan earlier. It's one of the greatest movies and one of the greatest war movies of all time. It's centered on the greatest generation in American history. The film takes place during the invasion of Normandy during World War II. It follows a patrol of 8 Army soldiers as they search for young Private James Ryan, determined to bring him home to his mother after his 3 brothers have been killed in combat. Not a single member of the patrol survived the mission. Each of these men died trying to bring one man home. The last to perish was Captain John Miller, commander of the squad. He was able to reach Private Ryan before being fatally shot by enemy fire. In his dying breath, in his final words to young Ryan, he said, "Earn this. Earn it." I believe this is a lesson that transcends the battlefield or the set of a Spielberg movie. With the help of your teachers, your parents, and all that have sacrificed for you, you have all made it to your high school graduation, the first major milestone of many to come. You are going to be handed a diploma, a ticket to the next stage of your life. Earn it. Lead a life that is worthy of their sacrifice. Live honorably. Make a difference. Be the hard worker. Be a leader. Don't be afraid to fail. As the old adage goes, failure is not in the falling down, but the staying down. Remember your principles. Keep in touch with your teachers. And call and text your parents often. And to borrow a sentiment from fellow Ohioan Minor Myers Jr., go into the world and do well. But more importantly, go into the world and do good. And while you live your life, striving to be good sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, students and colleagues, and one day, mothers and fathers, whatever you become, remember that one of your most important roles is citizen of this exceptional country, the freest and greatest on earth. For as long as our nation has known independence, we've had good patriots on the front lines, fighting for it and dying for it. The best way to honor their sacrifice is by not taking it for granted. You have the right to speak your mind. Speak it. To believe whatever faith you choose. Believe it. To pursue your American dream. Pursue it. You have a right to participate in our great democracy, and soon you will have the opportunity to vote in your first presidential election. Don't waste it. Whoever you decide to vote for, just make sure you vote. Make your voice heard, because it is a privilege, because it's your responsibility, and because you can. You have the opportunity to be our next greatest generation. And your decisions have the power to make history and shape our future. Do it. The future is bright for the 2016 Prescott Badgers. Today is your day. Congratulations, you've earned it.